I think we are live. Okay, we are
Oh, we're
live,
live.
right? I put Priya on the spot. I asked her if she likes the new Taylor Swift album, which is going to be a question we want you to answer in the chat. Yay or nay? I wrote on my story, holy, what did I write? Holy, or unholy skip. Like, are you skipping or are you listening to the Taylor Swift album? Is it on repeat or can you not even?
Not on repeat.
Okay.
But I will say I'm coming to this conversation as a tourist, not a pilgrim. To quote the great Dr. Martin Luther King, we're just going to start there. We're starting there.
We are going to be quoting Martin Luther King
Dr.
Jr.
King, I'm okay. Let me see if I can land the plane here. When Dr. Martin Luther King went to India, as an Indian, I know this, he said to this country, because he was so inspired by Gandhi, can you believe we're starting our Taylor Swift democracy conversation? Quoting the great.
It's the most us thing ever, I have to say. This is what it's like to hang out with us.
So when I'm going to land this plane, y'all, when Dr. Martin Luther King traveled to India for the first time and deeply inspired by the nonviolent protest movement and Gandhi, he said, to most countries, I travel as a tourist, but to India, I come as a pilgrim.
Wow.
And I say to the Swifties out there and to Taylor Swift and to discussing fandom, to Taylor Swift,
who's on this live, by the way.
I know. I come as a tourist, not a pilgrim.
Got it.
Meaning, you go for it.
No, I was going to say, I think this is what makes this conversation really valuable. And because I think we are representing, there's sort of a binary. You're either a Swiftie or you're not. There's kind of no in between. And I think everyone falls into either category, and either category is fine. If you're not a Swiftie, you're going to enjoy this conversation. If you are a Swiftie, you will enjoy this conversation. And that's what we're going to do here. I am not a tourist. Unfortunately, I don't know. And it is a joy. Taylor Swift is a joy in my life. There are certain albums that I can't listen to, like Tortured Poets Department. I put myself in timeout because I was about to text all of my exes. It was like it was becoming a problem.
You can't listen to them because of what it does to you, which I would say is like an extremely effective.
Yeah. Because I'm also a lover girl, and so it's dangerous. It's a dangerous substance for me. But this album, I fear, will not lead to any bad decisions on my end. So I like it so far. I do look. It's a pop album. It's not going to be folklore, and we just have to accept it. Her heart is not broken.
So hold on. Let's do this. Let's figure out who's actually here. Because if being a Swiftie is a binary or not,
that's true.
Let's see if you are a Swiftie. Let's put what's a good Easter egg? Let's put
Wood. Because Wood is, there's a song called Wood, and it's about Travis Kelce.
I love when we collab, Liz Plank, because you really just widen my field.
We have complementary knowledge.
Okay, so you're going to choose the Swiftie word, and I'm going to choose the non-Swiftie word. So if you're a Swiftie, what's the word they're going to pop into the chat?
Let's put wood, or put a little, wood emoji.
Wood emoji, great. And if you are not a Swiftie, let's put what's the opposite of wood? What's wood? Fire. Put the word fire
in there.
That's
a good one. Fire emoji.
Fire emoji.
We got some logs.
We got a lot of logs. Got a lot of logs. You're all wow. You chose the right emoji. People know what you're talking about. And if you fire, we got a few fires in here. Fires. Okay, amazing.
So Priya Parker, scientists of parties and clubbing and gatherings and communities and how to stop fascism and preserve democracy. You are our empress of all of those things.
Wow.
How can we take what Taylor Swift has built, which, again, whether you're a Swiftie or not, you can game recognized game, okay? She's built something really incredible. She has built...
recognized dame.
There we go. Right? if we're talking about movement building, which is what going to the club is and what going to a protest is, and being civically exuberant, to use your language, Priya, like what can we learn about the way that Taylor Swift has built the Swiftie movement in order to, yeah, like build a better democracy and build a democracy that's keeps people up till midnight and makes them go to the movie theater. Okay, I just want to insert this. I have tickets for, I'm feeling sick today, so I might not make it. And obviously, I'm making this live because no matter what, I will show up. But I have tickets at 8 p.m. to go to see Taylor Swift at the movie theater. And it's just the lyrics. It's just the lyrics. And it's sold out.
Oh my God. Okay,
It's
so before
sold out.
I answer, I'm gonna double click on the Citizen.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Why do you have tickets?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah,
Why
yeah.
are you going?
I want to go because this is why, thank you. You're like our democracy therapist. Okay, why do I want to go? A, I feel seen by her. I feel that her music is able to express certain emotions that I feel I'm the only one that like feels them. I think she's extremely vulnerable, and I think that was like Taylor Swift was always an icon, but I think she became more iconic when she actually lost her masters, had to, re-record everything. Like this sort of like dark night of the soul, she could have, I think most pop stars would have kept private, but she was very public about her trials and tribulations, which as a human being, as a person, even though I'm not a billionaire, I don't have, record deals and the money and the fame that she has. I can relate to feeling unjustly, treated. And certainly as a woman too, having a guy, sort of, all that stuff. So I think she's very vulnerable. And therefore, when I listen to her music, I see a part of me and her expressing that vulnerability, like being like, I want to throw myself off a building just to get your attention, which is an actual lyric
Okay,
in Get Over Now.
by the way, can you imagine if Chuck Schumer
Oh
was
my
like,
God, don't.
this is
Yes.
not going well. This is
Because
not
they're
going
not
well.
being vulnerable.
This is not going well. My heart is broken.
Oh my God.
Democracy dumped me.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else feel this deep,
Yes.
deep national broken heart right now? Because
Yes.
I'm crying and I'm about to be like, what the hell? What am I a part of? How could 300 years of like political theory and promise just literally be thrown in a dumpster fire?
Mm-hmm,
Can you imagine if Chuck Schumer came out and just said that?
I would go to the movie theater to watch that a video to like a voice memo of him and just the words. I
By
would
the
pay
way, we've seen a
$40.
little bit of an example like that. Like, I can't believe that there hasn't been more, but when Cory Booker basically like staged at some level a performance art piece on the floor
Yeah.
of the Senate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like for 24 hours, we saw one version of grace, of suffering, of naming, of performing, of calling in, of saying, this is weird and this is not okay. And I, as a senator, I'm going to use my power to name.
Yeah.
And even if it's performative, even if it's, by definition of performance, I see you, my citizens. I'm using the tools that I have, which, by the way, are not working in the larger structure because the norms aren't being respected.
Hello.
Because all of the norms that we assumed would just be state are being destroyed. But I'm going to use my power in this way. Okay, so number one, you
Everything
love
you're
her
saying.
because of her vulnerability. Okay, I hope you all are tracking, right? Taylor Swift, Dems, democracy, like anti-authoritarianism. So number one, vulnerability. I saw in the chat. Number two, it's really fun to go to the movie theater. Tell us about how fun it is.
Yeah. It's fun.
Why do you have
when
tickets?
I went to the Eras Tour movie, it was like we were dancing, we were singing. I'd never been to a movie where people got up and danced, and were high-fiving and, being like, I love your outfit. And like, oh, you're this era. Like there's a common language. I mean, maybe that's a separate thing, but it is fun because you're with other people who are enjoying it. And I specifically didn't want to go with anyone who's not a Swiftie. I was like, I don't want you to bring down the vibe. I don't want you to have questions or like judgments. I need to go with a full fan so that this is a fully fun time and I don't feel weird about getting up and dancing.
So here we're going to really, this is great. I feel like we're like macro analyzing. So here is where I actually think, and I'm going to say the progressive left or the Dems,
Yeah.
are actually need to put down the drawbridge.
Okay.
And not say you have to come right, you have to know all the terms, you have to know every
Well,
word, you
that's
have to do
true.
this in order to come in.
That's true.
And you don't need to come right. We're going to
That's
teach
true.
you the lyrics. We're going to
That's
bring
so
you all
true.
that. I'm not saying that about
You're
you,
right.
but right, it's like where and how. And I think her Eras tour like literally did that for so many people who were curious,
Mm-hmm.
and like her hardcore fans have stayed with her forever, and there's like, I would say healthy competition between who's like the Swiftiest of them all.
Yeah.
But and she like a brilliant leader, activator, movement leader, deeply knows and honors the diehards
Yeah.
like a good political movement does,
Mm-hmm.
and still expands and
Mm.
expands and expands and allows more people to come in.
You know what it is? Okay, I'm obsessed with this conversation. Okay, first of all, I'm like, just to piggyback on what you said about Cory Booker. Cory Booker didn't only do performance art, which I totally agree with. That's a beautiful metaphor. He was also vulnerable. He cried.
Yes.
He was like, this is awful. This mother, single mom who has a disability is going to lose her benefits. And that is making me, even though I'm a senator, even though I'm in the halls of Congress, right? Like, or, Senate, and I'm a figure of authority, I'm going to cry about this, right? I'm going
Yeah.
to be vulnerable. So I think you're totally right. He wasn't, and I think about this a lot. The right, and particularly Trump. Trump is a person. He's not a politician. And that's why he won. That's why he won. And he's still not a person.
Say it again. Say it again. Liz, say those words. Say those words.
Trump
Plastic
is
in the country.
Trump is not a politician. He's a person, and that's why he won, and that's why he is winning. And Democrats show up as politician. Chuck Schumer shows up with his classes, says this is wrong, and he talks like a politician when. And so that's why they are capturing attention. That's why they're capturing votes. And that's
You know who
why
shows up as a person?
what?
You know who shows up as a person?
Taylor
Zoran Mamdani.
Yeah. I mean, there we go.
Show up as
There
a
we
person.
go.
Show up as a person. Show up as a person. And part
Mm,
of what's interesting about Taylor Swift, and again, if you're just joining our conversations, I think our metaphors are wood and fire. But I am coming as a tourist who deeply, deeply respects what Taylor Swift does in terms of fandom, in terms of building movement, in terms of creating space for more and more people to come in, but also to create infrastructure. Like
yeah.
political movements need infrastructure. You need to
Mm,
gather. You need potlucks. You need to go to rallies. We've said this before on other conversations. Trump is a great gatherer. Donald
yeah.
Trump is a great host. Donald Trump does a lot of the things that Taylor Swift does, right? He's specific, he's vulnerable. He creates through his rallies a temporary alternative world that the people who it is for want to be a part of. It is fun. It is a vibe, right? You
Inside
go to Taylor
jokes. Easter, I
inside
mean, it's
joke.
not Easter eggs, but it's inside jokes. They have ways of calling other people nicknames, different terms, different jokes that they do, right? It's a cultural event. It's a
Yes.
culture.
And it's a culture.
Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, everything you're saying is so true.
When I think about Taylor Swift, I started really paying attention because of what people were telling me about going to her concerts.
Mm,
And I was like, and I'd watch and watch and watch. And then I'd watch people going to the concerts, right? I'd watch and I'd literally be like, okay, now what are you doing? 4 months
yeah.
before they would go attend an Eras tour. And so,
Uh,
again, a gathering, if you think about, okay, I'm going to make this metaphor, right? What is democracy? What is citizenship? What does it mean to citizen? Does it mean going once every 4 years to the polls and voting? No. It actually means like that's the mechanism by which we affect a vote. But we should be citizening, to use a term Bertrand Thurston popularizes, all of the time. So if you think about think about the concert. Okay, I'm going to make this metaphor here. Ready? An election
yeah.
versus a Taylor Swift concert. You got tickets to the Miami concert. For a Taylor Swift concert, anyone who's been, drop a 1 in the chat if you went to any concert in the Eras Tour. Let's see. And drop a 2 in the chat if you wished you had gone to an Eras Tour. And drop a 3 in the chat if you've seen the Eras Tour film. Okay, so election, right? You show up the morning of, get out the poll, get out the vote. Maybe you show up, you have to figure out like where my polling is. You go, you vote, you leave, right? Maybe you make a plan. Eras Tour. Months and months and months ahead of time, people are planning their outfits.
Yeah.
They're re-listening to her entire discography. How do you say that word?
You said that right. I think
Discography.
discography.
We didn't pull someone up, right? They are making friendship bracelets. They're making bracelets. They're making bracelets not just for themselves. They're making bracelets to distribute to as many other people at the concert as possible, right?
Yeah.
If every gathering is a temporary alternative world, and if we're using this metaphor as democracy, the election is almost like that. It's like the end point. The
Yeah.
journey to the election is citizenry. Like,
Right.
is there anything that we get from the Democrats besides give me $5 or $2 on a text message? Like,
And it's
how
give
do
me
we actually?
something. Yeah.
Totally.
Instead of
Totally.
get something. Yeah.
Yes. And so part of what I so deeply admire, even if we just look at how she actually does her concerts, is she builds anticipation. She deeply empowers her guests, right? They want to come. They're fundamentally pro-social, right? Can you imagine, even if we just think about our elections, if every line was a party? And yes, there are simple examples of this, like the revival. What are they called? The revival chorus. I'm blanking, but it's this wonderful.
The
I think it's all
resistance chorus.
the resistance revival chorus, right?
Yeah.
They're an example of, like, for the last many election cycles, 80 women singing joyfully, and they have a program called Bring Joy to the Polls. Like, they understand that some of you might be at a poll in Philadelphia and you may actually hear like 70 voices singing and dancing. You're like,
Yeah.
wow, this is supposed to be
Yeah.
fun. Like, children feeling that frequency in their body that's like, oh, voting's a party. Oh, I want to be a part of this. And like, at some deep level, like, we think of democracy as boring rather than this like deeply precious, fun, radical thing to fight for and
Yeah.
protect.
Right. Ellie Griffin wrote, I will happily fangirl a better country, right? It's this idea that like
Yes.
people are dying to be excited about. And I'm as an immigrant, I love America so much. And it sometimes comes off as like, because I wear a lot of like America, like I have a hat. Where was it? I was just wearing it, American flag hat. And literally, okay, this is a side note, but I, for some reason in 2016, ended up at Vice President Pence's nephew's house party in Times Square. I don't know why he lived in Times Square. I don't know how I got there, but I was wearing an American flag.
I think you've ended up at a lot of house parties you were surprised to be at. I feel like you're like everyone's like plus 17. Like, I want Liz playing at my house party.
I'm down. I think I'm just always like, if you text me, you're like, you want to go to this random, like, I'm not the type A, like, where is it? What time? Like, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'll be there.
My husband Anna and I have a name for this quality. It's one of our most deeply like precious things we hold in friends. You're a yes friend.
Oh,
You're a yes friend.
say yes.
And like, part of like tell us you're Mike Pence's nephew house party, but it's like part of citizenship is like making it cool to be a yes friend. Yes, I'll come to the polls. Yes, I'm going to help you clean up the park. Yes, I'm going to help like volunteer. Yes, I'm going to go to house party and play bingo to be a fangirl for democracy. Yes. Right? It's like making it cool to actually lean into your country.
Yeah. It's
okay. So you're at this party, and what happens?
It's the side. It's tangent on tangent. It's just I had an American flag scarf because I love America, and all these people at the party. Mike Pence's nephew was like, "I love your scarf," like, and really thought I was, totally not who I am in terms of like how I think and feel about where things should be. But we had this like great conversation, and like everyone was so nice at this party because they thought I was, one of them, I guess. But it was a much more enjoyable experience for me. And as you know, I like going to places where people don't agree with me and making friends there. But all this to say, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, make it fun to be, a fan of America. And I will say, and people won't like what I'm going to say, okay? Because it's not a nice, it's a positive of what the right is doing. But I think in order to be better, you have to look at your, competition, right? You got to learn.
100%.
And I think that that's a number one thing. They make it cool to be excited about where you live and to wave the flag. And we saw the Democrats, particularly if you were at the DNC or you watched it on TV, was that a couple months ago? That was a year ago. Oh my God. So many white hairs since then. But basically they really tried to own that and gave everyone, American flags and chanting USA and sort of reclaiming that love of
Really,
country.
it's really important.
Yes. But do you think that do you think what I just said about my comment about I want to go to the movie theater only if you're a Swiftie. Do you think that in a way is a little bit what's wrong with the way that the left can sort of organize and mobilize, where it's like, well, if you're not using the right term, you're not a real one. Because we do that a lot, and they don't. The right, one of the things that and maybe I've already said this because I repeat myself and I don't remember things that I've said online and things I've said in private. But what
By
I
the way,
noticed,
it's okay to repeat things over and over and
oh,
over again. That's what a mantra becomes.
thank
That's
you.
what a ritual becomes.
Thank
That's how
you.
you actually remember lyrics. That's how you
Right.
remember those little earworms. So like, say it
Right.
again, say it again, say it again. We're here for
Right.
it.
Well, thank you for validating my early onset dementia. So basically, I found one of the things I found the most interesting at my first Turning Point USA conference that I went to was that was the celebration of difference of opinion. Not only was it and again, people can point out all kinds of ways that the right is not tolerant of difference of opinions. I'm reading the news too. I know, Jimmy Kimmel getting canceled is not necessarily exuding that quality. But at the fundamental person to person level, right, at a conference where you're meeting people, it's they liked the fact that I was pro choice, right? They actually
Mm,
wanted to talk to me and
mm,
have a conversation around that. And even they seem to um enjoy the fact that even people within their own, people on the right have differences of opinions because they really pride themselves on free speech and on people being allowed to think what they think.
mm.
And I think that we, on the left, which include myself, by the way, in all the critiques, like I'm the poster child for a lot of these things where it was like, well, if you're not using the right terminology, you're racist, right? If you are not doing this thing, you are sexist. And is that sort of something that you think the left needs to be, or like pro-democracy people need to be better about?
I mean, in his book, The Persuaders, Anand Girdhar, the journalist, and also my roommate,
Hubby,
aka husband,
your boyfriend.
my boyfriend, writes literally this by actually, and so many of the people that he interviewed were actually like deep progressive organizers saying exactly what you were saying, which is we can't like we need to put down the drawbridge. We need to be more. I think this was Alicia Garza who said this in The Persuaders. We need to be more evangelical,
Yeah.
small evangelical. We need to we need to actually reach out, right? One of the details in his book was in mega churches, the first row, like in most places, the first row of parking is for handicap. In many mega churches, the first row, and these are like, thousands and thousands of cars, the first row is for people who've never been to church before.
Wow.
Right? It's
There you
interesting.
go.
It's interesting, like where and how. And I think part of going back to Taylor Swift, I think there's different elements. This is why she's such a brilliant, in a way, activator, which is it's not saying that movements are all one thing or that you only love the new. You also deeply honor and like love the old. I remember reading and hearing about from my Swifty friends. I feel like I'm like the imposter about her secret sessions, right? Until she literally was so big that she couldn't hold them anymore. When I first heard about the secret sessions, I assumed they were virtual. I didn't
Mhm.
understand she literally opened up her home to invite fans and blur the lines between
Yeah.
fans and friends, right? Also, like part of this is thinking about she's a person, but in a way, she's also a politician. She understands this is a movement. There is a head. You need to actually have connection with people. People need to feel like they are have proximity to you. And she
Mhm.
would host. She's a great host. She would host these secret sessions
Yeah.
in her own home, in which she'd like hang out and play different songs that weren't even on the track for them. And then I think her first album was released in 2006. It's been almost 20 years. And so at some level, there's been a loyal fan base that have been growing with her. Somebody said to me recently, a Swiftie, she makes reinvention cool,
Yeah.
which is also fascinating, right? So, and then claiming like America is changing, our country is changing in 20.
Yeah. No,
Like,
sorry.
our demographics are changing.
Mhm.
Who looks like being American is changing, right? And so rather than just either like buckling down and just being like, this is, um, it's like Arlie Hochschild's book, Strangers Among Us. I'm forgetting her
Mhm.
book, right?
Yeah.
Versus saying like, wow, it's so beautiful to
Right.
reinvent. It's so beautiful. This is another form of who we are. And what does it actually mean at the core, to be one nation?
Yeah.
But it's
And
changing what it looks like, but doesn't mean that we're not still one nation.
yes, and talk about who needs reinvention. The Democrats, right? Like, I think that 100% needs to happen, and I can see this sort of, like, struggle. I don't know if you see it with your friends or people in the chat, if you can, share, but, like, where I
Strangers in
feel
Their
like
Own Land. Thank you. Wow. Great readers here. And please put in the name of the author because I think I
I
butchered it.
think it's Ariel Hochschild,
Thank you.
right?
Thank you.
Ariel.
Ariel
You had
Hochschild.
it.
Yes.
Um, but I'm seeing this tension online and just with people in general of I think that there are people who are trying to, or even, I mean, Anand wrote an amazing piece about the conversation between Ezra
All
Klein
right.
and Ta-Nehisi Coates of I think one, well, anyway, we can get into it. I don't know if we have time, but I think there's this tension between should we evolve in a direction where we're a bigger tent, and no, we should never do that because that would, or the priority shouldn't be that if it means, sort of changing our inherent DNA,
Yeah.
but the inherent DNA is not giving us power in order to enact those values, and so it's actually putting the people that we value at harm's way because we're not gaining political and electoral power. And I always get and I think on, and again, I shared it in my notes. You guys should all, everyone who wants to read it, but I do get frustrated in these conversations because we're like, it's either one or the other, and it's like, no, actually, like, there are people who are working on that side, and there are people who are working on that side, and actually both need to be there. But overall, I think there's definitely a need for reinvention. I cannot stress this enough, and I know people will not want to hear this, but like the culture, the left culture is so toxic. Like if you go outside of our little bubbles, like it is a really, really unpopular sort of movement. It is not people don't want to proudly say that they're Democrat in the way that they want to proudly say that they're Swifties, and that's like something that we need to think about. So, do you see? And then the other thing I wanted to bring up is, which you're basically touching upon, which is her parasocial relationships, right? That
Yeah.
so much of doing these private sessions, of connecting with her fans, and with the diehards with these secret codes that they understand and they, know about. Do you think that the Democrats should have better, like, work on parasocial relationships? Do you think how would that even work?
100%. And well, I think this is a super interesting question in part because it's like, well, what do we mean, the Democrats? And I think at some level, like traditionally, quote unquote, it would be like helping the DNC think about parasocial relationships, but the DNC is literally like the opposite
Yes.
of parasocial relationships. It's just like it's perceived as this like massive risk averse bureaucracy. And there are a few progressives who are brilliant at parasocial relationships, AOC being one of them, right? Like for years and years and years, coming home after a massive day where you might see her, litigate something on the Hill, and then she's like comes back and she's like in like
Eating
bad
ice cream.
lighting,
Yeah.
right? And like and like literally doing AMAs on anything from like her nail polish color to like the CVS, like the literally, I remember one of her most viral posts years ago, and I like my, you know, family members were like texting me, like, "Oh, she gets her lipstick or her lip gloss at CVS, and it's this brand." It's like
Oh, no.
that is so. It's like she's like us.
She's a person.
She's a person. She's a person, right? And
Mhm.
so I think, and there's a power in making memes, like when I remember Bernie Sanders at the what was that? Was that the inauguration when he was like
With the
freezing? Was it
mittens.
Trump's inauguration when he like the
Mittens?
mittens?
Yeah, it was
Right, yeah, the
Trump.
mittens, and he's like sitting there
2020.
and that's like an example of like he's a person, but then he's also a meme. Memes are great. Memes allow people to have a relationship with a person through a third leg of the stool. And so
Mhm.
part of like creating memes and creating humor and finding ways to like activate the culture
Yeah.
around your civic values, activate the
Mhm.
culture around your actual like vision for this country. I mean, if you look at like even her languaging when she announced her engagement to Travis Kelce, right? I'm like, I literally want to be in that. I want to be in her head slash the brainstorming or like her and Travis like debating like what is one. There's literally like what is one sentence. Okay, let's
No,
do this
yeah,
as
yeah.
like the one sentence to announce this,
Yeah. But
right? And
also
that
that
and
sentence, do you wanna analyze it? Because
yeah,
I have
I
thoughts.
want to analyze it. I'm
So
like, curious how many of you know what that sentence is?
yeah,
Pop it into the chat, right?
good
Pop it
question.
into the chat if you know the sentence she wrote to analyze on their Instagram when they announced that they were getting married.
I remember it. Gym
Yep,
teacher married the English
yep,
teacher,
yep,
Robert, for the win.
yep, yep. Right? Your
And
favorite, I'm gonna Google it. Your gym teacher. I'm gonna actually keep you go, Liz. I'm
yeah.
gonna get it exactly.
Because that one of the things I noticed, from the, many reactions to the engagement was this sort of meme that started, which was like, wow, my close friend Taylor Swift just got engaged. Wow, my close friend Taylor Swift. And even people were using it then for other stuff after, like, with other people. Like, people said that on our podcast that day. They're like, wow, my close friend Liz, it's something that I said
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
podcast,
yeah.
right? So it became this sort of meme. And to me, what that speaks to is, that parasocial that, that comes from vulnerability. If she had not sung her heart out for 15 years about being broken up with, being ghosted, even though she's a billionaire, right? Being brokenhearted while she's on the biggest tour, the most, economically sort of financially lucrative tour of probably all time, right? But saying this guy broke up with me and he ghosted me, right? Like that takes so much vulnerability
So much
to then
vulnerability.
and that's why we're so excited because in a way she's like the underdog, even though again she's like the most powerful
She's not
woman
an
on.
underdog. She's absolutely not an underdog, right? This is like
Exactly.
brilliant communication. It's brilliant
Right.
marketing. Okay, I want to break down the
Yeah, break
sentence.
it
Your
down.
English. So this is you all are good. You know the sentence, and you also know the sentence because it is culturally brilliant. It's a
Yeah.
culturally effective sentence. So on August 26th, Taylor Swift 5 weeks ago posts an image of her and Travis Kelce in a garden underneath what looks like where they might get married anyway. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 words in the sentence. Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married. Mic drop. Okay, I want to break this down. Like,
Break it.
first of all, she understands like the psyche of like middle schoolers and high schoolers, and also the nostalgia
Mm,
of being middle schoolers and high schoolers, which is everybody in the country.
yeah.
Right?
Everyone's
Like
home.
I recently read this essay or I don't know if it's a study, but basically like the majority of us deeply remember like music that deeply formed us was like between like 9 and 13 years old, right? Like there's so like your English teacher and your gym teacher.
Yeah.
By the way, she's not saying your English professor.
Uh-huh.
She's not
Right.
saying your like Olympic coach.
Right.
Right. So there's a lot going on in the sentence. And again, as we think about Democrats, as you think about messaging, as you think about relatable content that is understandable, you know what you're actually talking about. So your English teacher and your gym teacher, those are two different teachers, presumably in a high school.
Mm-hmm.
Right. She is also is like, don't look at us. We're not billionaires. We're not like deeply strategic people who have planned everything to a T. Like, no, little or less, like your English teacher and your gym teacher. The word
Your.
your, right? It's like Donald Trump, like she's, they, them, I'm for you.
Uh-huh.
Right? Do you remember that ad?
I
She's, they,
do.
them, I'm for you.
I
Your English teacher, not this English teacher. Not my inner English teacher and his inner gym teacher. Your English teacher. Like, this couldn't be more brilliant. And your gym teacher are getting married. All of a sudden, it's almost like, and it's also brilliant because, like, you wouldn't be invited to their wedding, probably.
Yeah.
But it's an announcement. And so at some level, like, her brilliance of proximity of, like, who's close and who's far, but everyone can be part of this tent. I remember, I'm sorry, I'm really going long on this. Can I say one more thing?
Please keep going. I'm
Okay.
riveted.
So I remember learning in Colombia, we have close Colombian friends, and they told us this thing that in Colombia there is a wedding invitation. There's an invitación. And then there's this other invitation. There's this other thing that gets sent out to a larger group of people called the participación, which is an announcement that we're getting married, but you're not invited. But you're still honored to be acknowledged.
Got it.
And you still have to send a gift.
What? That's brilliant.
But part of
brilliant.
what I'm saying is like traditional cultures, I know this from India, there's like deep, collective, complex social infrastructure and codes. And part of what this invitation reminded me of, it's not an invitation, it's a participación. Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married. You kind of feel like you're a part of it.
Yeah.
Democrats need, like, the pro-democracy movement need more participaciones. Right? And then the final thing is, she's naming and owning, like, English teacher and gym teacher. Also, I understand this via lyric. It's also a lyric in a past song. Or at least English teacher and gym teacher or something. Maybe my Swifties can be in there. But the second thing is she's like elevating and allowing for opposites to attract. Right? She's saying we might be super different and we're getting married. And don't you also, right? Don't you know who's your gym teacher and who's the equivalent of your English teacher? Let's pop here. You all, regardless of like whether your gender identity, if you are more an inner English teacher, drop a 1 into the chat. And if you are more like a gym teacher, drop a 2 in the chat. Right? They're also like personifying, like, oh, who am I? And who would be my thing? It's like those cosmopolitan tests.
Sure.
Quizzes, right? It's like, what am I? Who am I?
Yes.
Oh, this is a brilliant sentence. and like, part of, like, how do you actually build a movement? How do you get people to the polls? How do you help people understand that fascism is taking over this country, that authoritarianism is rising? It's like, it's too much. There's 47 things the Trump administration is doing every day. But if you can get a sentence like this that interrupts people and helps them actually realize, like, oh, those people on, like, AOC's protecting us, or Zoran's protecting us, or Bernie's protecting us. I don't even know what words to say. Newsom's protecting us. Use a simple sentence that brings people close, gives a message, is understandable, and helps us know what role we can play in that sentence.
Make America great again. I mean, come on, right? Like,
which, but was originally also in the Reagan campaign. It just wasn't as elevated.
Yeah. Do you, and this makes me think of, I don't know if you've seen in your feeds, some of the protests in response to the militarization of, Portland and sort of other states, DC, where people are like playing like the shuffle and doing these like big, I mean, like,
awesome.
Right? And they're blasting really happy music and they're having like a dance off. Or I've seen also, which maybe is not as joyful, but still kind of funny and fun, people following some soldiers with like Star Wars music, like big, like they like have like a big like speaker and like da 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 to sort of sort of make a joke and ridicule them. Do we need, is that a good example of what,
it's a wonderful example. It's a wonderful example that like protests can be fun, like protests and going out on the street, and at some level, like, humor is so disarming.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I have a mentor, that Rick Ingrassi, he would always say, he'd say this for years as the tagline of his email. He'd say, if you want to change the culture, throw the better party. And part of, like, when I wrote The Art of Gathering, one of the biggest mistakes we make when we gather is we assume that the purpose is obvious
Yeah.
and shared. And therefore, we have such a narrow, oh, I know what a protest is. I know what a protest looks like, right? Oh, I know what a wedding looks like white dress, aisle. Like we have these preconceived notions. And so even with something like a protest, it's like, to first ask, or a rally, or any of these words that we use, like, what is the purpose? What is the need in the country right now for people to feel? That is a
What
radical
is the
question.
need? Maybe people
I
could
think to
share it
feel
in the chat.
defended. Great. What do you think the need in the country is right now? Or what is
Or
your
what's
need?
yours? Yeah.
What is your need right now?
Yeah. I'd be so curious. Because
Great question.
I'll be honest, I think it's hard to be joyful. Like I get glimpses of it, but usually it's because I'm not on my phone and I don't get a news alert about the latest thing that's happening, and I feel like I'm joyful when my head's in the sand a little bit,
Yeah.
and I think it's I guess I'll be vulnerable. I do find it, as a person who loves to have fun and whose goal in life is to have fun, like, there's a No Kings protest coming up, like, and I'm like, "Is that gonna be fun? Like, how can we make that more fun? And how can we how do you throw a really good party when you're depressed as fuck?" Which
It's
is,
like
like,
that's
kind of what I
exactly. It's almost
right?
like that's exactly when we need to throw the best party. Right?
Right.
That's exactly. It's like actually part of what gathering is when you do it really well. It's almost like sorcery. Like you can create this thing and people can go and do it together and you leave feeling like, oh, maybe this is possible. Maybe
Mm,
I do feel like this. Like that song last night, A DJ Saved My Life. We've spoken about this before. Like that's a literal song. I actually believe the person who wrote that meant that seriously. Right. And so part of that is like you have to fake
yeah.
it till you make it. Like
Right.
otherwise it's like the self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like
Yeah.
calmly, like that was fun. Like that felt good. Like I didn't realize how much I needed that. And
Mm.
so much of it is like just be so I think it's fun. I also think like watching Jimmy Kimmel's opening, I was gonna say ceremony. It felt like a ceremony.
Yeah.
His opening, what
Monologue, yeah.
monologue? I'm like, what's it called? What he did there to me felt like this is what I've been needing.
Mm.
This is
Share
what
more
I've
about
been
that.
needing.
What did you need?
He and actually, I needed someone to say the truth and not be afraid of Donald Trump. Someone who has been specifically like kicked off, is like taken off, and like for very literal reasons to actually go back out and say the truth.
Mm.
So first, and actually, Anand Girdardas, maybe we can, I don't know how to pop something into a live, but someone can maybe pop in a close read why and how Kimmel's monologue worked.
Mm.
He made us feel not alone. Right?
Mhm.
I'm actually going to read this. I'm reading from The Ink. Amazing Substack. This is what Jimmy Kimmel actually said. I'm now quoting on it. I want to thank everyone who checked in. It would take all week to list all of them, but some that I do especially want to mention are my fellow late night talk show hosts, my friends Colbert, who found himself in this predicament, and then he names everyone. And Anand says, early on, Kimmel makes this crucial move. He doesn't set himself up as one lone man facing a menacing authoritarian administration. He associated himself in solidarity with other comedians who have his back.
Mm.
Right? Number two, Nazi historical parallel. Check. He says, I heard from late night hosts in other countries, from Ireland and from Germany. The guy in Germany offered me a job. Can you imagine? This country has become so authoritarian that Germans are like, come here, cut loose. Right? Anand writes, this was the first moment when I realized the guy was serious, that he wasn't a corporate hostage, that he was in fact now going to go harder than he had before, right off the bat, jokingly, but also not. He makes a comparison between America right now, and Germany in the 1930s. He divides his enemy. He claims the mantle of normal. He has progressive patriotism. I've had the opportunity to meet and spend time with comedians and talk show hosts from countries like Russia who tell me that they would get thrown in prison for making fun of those in power and being thrown in prison. They know how lucky we are here. Our freedom to speak is what they admire most about this country. And then he punches
Mm.
back. He milks crackdowns and he stays and fights. And
Mm.
basically it's a beautiful essay. He finds common ground, but he is not afraid. He
Yeah.
normalizes, he says out loud what like I've been thinking. he's funny and loose, and I feel like, oh, he's actually not afraid. And then it's almost like everyone like waking up from a dream. It's like, oh yeah, why aren't the law firms doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't ABC doing that? I guess it was ABC. Why isn't right all of the why isn't
Yeah.
the courts doing that? I mean, some of the courts are, right? But he just models what I feel like is most needed right now.
And by the way, he was also vulnerable. Not to like
He was
call back. He
vulnerable.
cried
I'm
when he
feeling a
brought up.
theme for this conversation.
It is. He was vulnerable. At one point, his voice cracks and he starts to cry. Not sobbing, but he starts, tearing up when he's talking about Charlie Kirk's death, right? Which
Yeah.
for many people, anyone dying, right, it will create an emotional reaction, and so he was vulnerable. He was real, right? He wasn't. And I think that's exactly what your point is so good that it's almost like no one's being human, like, yeah, when they just bend the knee and they, ABC execs or Harvard, like whatever you want to, whatever establishment or institution you want to
So
point
I would
to.
actually say Harvard has been the opposite of
You're
that.
right. Sorry, but not
UVA,
Harvard. You're
but
right.
yeah, I was going to say Harvard also. Harvard is another example. Like the
Yeah.
president came out and being like, "This is crazy.
Yeah.
My job is to protect us." He got a standing ovation when he just went up to the podium
Mm,
on commencement day. He
mm.
couldn't even speak. The entire crowd
Wow.
rose
Wow.
and just clapped.
Yeah.
Thank you for defending us.
Mm,
Thank you for using your power and not being
mm,
scared and remembering that institutions matter. But there's a
mm.
person who runs that institution.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah.
I
People.
think another. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no,
I was
no,
going
no.
to come
I
back to
just
Taylor.
literally, I'm like, people. Yeah. I was just like, we need
People.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Taylor is vulnerable. And when she's had like huge public losses, fails, whatever you want to call them, when she found out that Scooter Braun was, all of her masters were sold to him,
Yeah.
she turns this devastating business deal
Yeah.
into a rallying cry.
Yeah.
Right? She inconveniences herself. It's not just vulnerability. She's a workhorse. She
Mhm.
then, instead of losing control, she re-records her first 5 albums. She re-records them, right?
Mhm.
She creates Taylor version. She communicates, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And then she turns her fans into activists who boycott the originals and defend her rights. But she's bringing people along the entire time.
Mhm.
Like in a political movement, you need to bring people along, communicate, tell them what you're doing, and then have them understand one thing. And make it simple. Don't listen to these versions. Listen to the version that says parentheses, Taylor's versions at the end of them. Oh, got it. I understand that.
Right.
Tell them what to do.
Right.
Tell them what to do. Tell one specific action and then know what that actually is. What are you asking people to do?
Yeah. It was easy to do, right? It
It was
wasn't
easy to do.
it wasn't vague or complicated or
Sorry,
it's
it was
just
I would actually say it, I would use your
yeah.
language well. It was understandable and specific.
Yeah.
I know I go to Spotify, I look for these words in the sentence, right? There was no place where she lost them in the jump
Mm.
because they understood what the marching orders were.
Well, d- so do you think that we have 9 minutes
Oh,
left?
okay. Oh, hold on. This is good.
Oh,
In our comments, okay. So you all is like, you can be practice messengers. Robert DeBell is saying, vote blue no matter who.
there we go.
So pop into the chat if you were to have one simple messaging. What are we trying to say? That you think, I don't even know how to frame the question, that you think would be the equivalent that would tell people what to do who want to fight authoritarianism
Mm-hmm.
today. What would you say? Let's just get some
Yeah.
practice out there.
Slogans, actions, simple things. I mean, that's, I feel, every time we go live. I mean, that's usually like, what can I do, right? And I think that's what gives me hope, anyways, is that people want to do something, and people
Yes.
are eager to channel their talents into what to do. And I think that's part of their incredible talent as authoritarians, is to flood the zone, right? Is to just create so many fires and sort of so many conflicts that it's hard for people to focus on sort of one thing to do at a time. And so that,
And some of this is also like it can be funny, right? It doesn't have to be so
yeah.
literal. I'm seeing in the chat, Free America,
Hmm.
right? That's very funny,
That's
right? It's
good.
related to a meme, Free Britney. It makes people think like, what do you mean
Yeah.
Free America? You could literally have like 14-year-olds like saying that as like a joke at around a dinner table.
Yes.
They're like, what does that
Yes.
mean? Right.
Yeah.
And I see with credit to a nut, I'm assuming that's the nut Shankar Osorio, the like the brilliant messenger. Right. Free America. That's pretty funny. I mean,
Wait,
one of
that's
the things I've been,
really good. I
it's
love
really
it.
good. One of the things
I'm
I've been
like
reading.
into it.
Yeah, okay, we found it. We found it. One of the things that I've been reading about super interestingly, and I learned from a 12-year-old boy, literally a 12-year-old kid,
Uh-huh.
um, that South Park. Have you been hearing this? South Park, like this show has been around for 20 years,
Hmm.
has become this like interesting, memey, hilarious, transgressive place to make fun of Trump. And it's spreading in a lot of places you would never otherwise expect.
Hmm.
And I literally learned about this from a 12-year-old, like a friend of a friend's kid. And I was just like, this is somewhere. I was like, so what are you doing? Like, just like chatting with them. Like, what are
Yeah.
you up to? Like, how do you like school? I don't know. Just like, tell me something. And somehow he started laughing about this like South Park episode. And I was like, what was the episode? And then he said something like super vulgar and then started laughing hysterically. And he was like, something like, well, and then he said, he was like, Donald Trump has a small, and then he like remembered he was talking to me, and I was like, I get it, and I was like, that's the first time I've seen a 12-year-old boy actually say something that within the codes of like a masculinity,
Yeah.
whatever context, he's laughing at him and he's not seeing him as scary and powerful. And then like 2 days later, the New York Times did this big piece about the like transgressive force of South Park.
Hmm.
Be in the culture.
Yeah. Robert says they've always done this, but they're doing it more lately, basically. I am not a South Park person, even though I think they're Canadian. Isn't there a Canadian? I feel like,
Canadians unite.
we do have
I
a
mean,
different
yeah,
POV.
you do. I
Um,
mean, and also immigrants too, right? It's like so much
it's
of this, you
true.
actually just have like a point, if nothing else, a point of comparison,
And
right?
I think that's why they are so suppressing, actually, of immigrant, particularly. I don't know if you saw a couple weeks ago, targeting journalists with green cards. Just like they know that we go, wait, like that's not how it works. In other countries, right? From things that are as simple as like healthcare, and there was a point in time, I think, and when I think left culture was at its most, at its peak, which was 2014, which was the best year in human history, which we talked about on Boy Problems, or Hope Core on the Boy Problem Speed, which is an episode that's out today, which you can go and watch.
Yay! We're
It's
sitting in a bed together.
We are
It's
in a
very
bed
exciting, very
together.
cozy.
It's so fun, and it's one of my favorite conversations I've ever had, where we talk about what if clubbing could teach us how to save, like, what if clubbing could save democracy? And it's very similar to this. So if you like this, you can go listen to our podcast episode. But um, there was a time in the 2010s where almost all of late night, I mean, not the traditional late night shows, but when it was an era of The Daily Show and,
Yeah.
John Oliver, Sam B, right? Like Sam B's
Yeah.
Canadian. John Oliver obviously is British. Jon Stewart is
Trevor Noah.
American, but Trevor Noah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
That it is a threat, right? To people who, particularly want to, maintain the status quo and want to convince you that, your healthcare premiums should double so that illegal immigrants don't get healthcare, which is not even true, right? And so, yeah, it is the outsider perspective is always a threat. I mean, if you think about any abusive relationship, right? The goal is to isolate you, and that's why your abusive boyfriend doesn't want you to talk to your friends because they know that if you start talking to your friends will start being like, "That's why? Do you like when he does that? Isn't that weird that he doesn't let you wear, makeup at work?" Like,
Yeah.
you'll start asking questions, which will then make you,
Think
less
about it.
valuable
Yeah.
and less free. So we got to
Yeah.
free America. We
Free
got to
America.
free America.
I'm getting a fact check. It's a little awkward. Getting a little fact check energy in here. South
Oh.
Park creators are from Colorado.
Wait, isn't there a Canadian? Okay, am I
I don't know.
nuts?
Okay, we can go. Apparently, Swifties are great researchers. So if you want to find
Okay.
out,
I
but
think that
actually,
there's
this morning I actually posted one of my maybe favorite pieces I've ever written. It was so fun, and it is about actually the subject line is it's about Bad Bunny, and it is 10 ways Bad Bunny is using gathering to shift culture.
mm,
And that all of this talk of immigration and raids and all this is reminding me in part, first of all, Bad Bunny was announced this week to be the headliner for the Super Bowl. Those of you, if you've been watching what's been happening with Bad Bunny and his latest tour in the Casita in Puerto Rico, put a one in the chat. Actually, no, let's put a bunny in the chat. Can we put a bunny in
yeah,
the chat?
bunny.
A bunny in the chat. So Bad Bunny, as we like again, think about like culture, think about gathering, thinking about group life, thinking about actually using these tools to create that world you actually wish existed. Bad Bunny, I think it was like from July 11th to September 20th, hosted a residency. Do you know about this, Liz? Have you been following all this?
I've been following it,
Like
yeah, but
vaguely.
as
So
usual,
let
I'm
me
like,
let
"What's
me
the big deal?" He's lit I'm like, "What?" But
you're
please
like,
explain it to us.
okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
explain this. I'm gonna explain this to you all. So basically, Bad Bunny, the global superstar, rapper, singer, producer, I think actor. I think he's been, and he basically had a 30. Sorry, he had a 2-month residency, and he has used. And I first heard about it because I'd like hear about people first online, and then like Puerto Rican people I know and Latinas I know, literally being like, I gotta get to Puerto Rico. I
Yeah.
have to get to Puerto Rico
Yeah.
before September 20th. I have to go see the casita. And I'm like, what's the casita? And it's like, the casita is on his stage, as part of the stage, is like a set, is an actual house in the traditional Puerto Rican architectural style, where instead of VIPs being invited as they are in every concert, including Taylor Swift's concert, either backstage or in like a red velvet rope area, to literally a house party in a casita on the balcony, which is how
Okay.
every Puerto Rican actually parties and hangs out on Fridays. And like in the beginning of like July 11th, whatever, there's like this viral picture that goes out and it's LeBron James in a bucket hat, like bouncing around at a house party. It was like, where is that house party? It's like, it's on the stage in an 18,000 person arena in
Uh,
San Juan, Puerto Rico. But part of this is like Bad Bunny uses his power. He is willing. This is what the Democrats are not willing to do. He spends his cultural power. He doesn't hoard it. He spends his cultural power. He's not afraid to invite people to Puerto Rico. He's not afraid. The first 9 shows, all of the tickets were only for Puerto Rican residents. You had to show your ID
mm,
to get into the concert because he knows who this is for first.
yeah.
Right?
And
You can pop it into the chat. Maybe someone can find it. Pop it into like the 10 reasons Bad Bunny is like literally using gathering to shift culture. And he's now going on a global tour, but he's making radical, specific choices like Taylor Swift. And he's pulling people close and making people want to be part of a thrilling house party. And he's not afraid of the familiar. Like
yeah,
Taylor Swift, it's not this like super, I don't know, like fancy idea of something else. It's super basic. It's
the
familiar. It's
house
not
party.
flashy. It's the gym
Mhm.
part. It's the gym teacher and the gym coach and the English teacher.
right? And he also, if I remember correctly, did not do any dates in U.S. cities outside of Puerto Rico of fear of ICE,
Yes.
coming at his shows and
Yes.
right. So it was extremely political. And now he's going to be doing the Super Bowl show, and it's all going to be in Spanish. And so because that's his music.
Yes.
And now there's all this conversation. I know I saw this like
There
Tommy
is. Me
Lynn.
too. I saw it too.
Yeah, just arguing and being like, "Well, what did she say?" Yeah, like, "He's not American." She's like, "He's from Puerto Rico." Like, that is America. Like, you
Which is like free America, right? It's like if for someone to be like, he's not American, it's like, wait, is he American? Wait, what is Puerto Rico? That is infiltrating the culture.
Mm,
Wait, is he American? Oh, wait, but I thought Puerto Rico's American. Wait, what is it? What is a territory? Wait,
my
I'm confused, right? Anand Girdharadas, he has this term in persuasion talking about displacing people's ideas. Oh, wait,
mm,
what is Puerto Rico?
my
I saw a piece today saying, we got to close. I got a piece today saying, um, Trump official saying we're going to have ICE outside of the Super Bowl. Right. And so part of this is also,
Oh my God.
but honestly, Bad Bunny's not afraid of a fight.
Yeah.
Right. It's like he is not touring in the US, but he's been asked to be the first all Spanish discography. There's that word again to, to, to perform at the Super Bowl in the casita. He is using culture. You've heard it here first. You're going to hear so much about Bad Bunny in the next 6 months. It's going to be this massive fight. And he is so fun. Even while people are fighting, they're not going to be able to not move their body.
Mm, damn right. I love this conversation. Also, during this conversation, I got a news alert that Puff Daddy's going to jail. And so, depending on how you feel about carceral systems, or not, there's some good news. There's some justice being served. Even when, we are flooded with many examples of it not happening. It is important. And I feel like, you manifested that, Priya Parker. So we have to go live, all the time so
Let's do
that
it.
amazing news is dropped during these lives.
Exactly. I mean, we've had such an amazing live, but also because of you all.
Yes.
Well, first of all, Liz is an amazing host. You might be noticing a lot of the questions were coming this way, which was the structure of our live. And Liz, you are vulnerable, right? You're like deeply present. You are wearing the orange. You're bringing the joy. You're going on like rabbit holes when you're like, I don't want to go on this rabbit hole. I'm like, go on the rabbit hole, Liz. You're a real person. This is how you actually talk. Liz is the Taylor Swift of Substack. Boom. So Liz Plank, thank you for hosting us and protecting us and connecting us. And
Well,
you all are our Swifties, our non-Swifties, our wood people, our fire people. Thank you. We love you. Let's do this
fire needs
again.
wood, wood needs fire. We
Exactly.
all need each other.
And if you want more of this, we're so excited to have you all here. I'm still learning these lives. If you go to the little thing at the top and you want to subscribe to Airplane Mode with Liz, if you want to subscribe to Group Life with me, we would love to have you.
We would love
And we are so excited to be part of the Substack activation. They're activating Taylor Swift's album.
Literally,
This is what it looks like to activate an idea. We're not talking about her outfits. We're talking about democracy. But we're
100%.
seving Taylor Swift through our shared interests.
Priya, if I'm the Taylor Swift of Substack, you are the Bad Bunny of Substack.
Oh, I'll take it.
Bringing people together. You're having fun. You're telling the truth, and you're making it really, really, really accessible and exciting. And you really fill me with so much hope every time I talk to you. And you make me think. Like, I think about things that you say, like, many times after the conversation is over, and it like grows like a garden. It creates seeds, and then flowers grow truly in my mind and my soul after I talk to you. And I know everyone feels the same way.
Thank you. Wait, can I do one thing I love to do at the end of each of these? Because
Yes.
it also gives us
Yes.
It's like rain on the earth. So we've been going for an hour. We're going to close out. But before we do, if you can pop into the chat, what is one insight or aha from our conversation that you're taking with you? What is just one thing you're remembering from this entire time? Just one thing you're remembering. Pop it in the chat. This is also interesting. Like, what works? We've been going for 66 minutes. Like, what actually works? One thing one of us said, or one concept that you want to take with you, and then we'll close out.
I mean, I'll share mine. The like comparison you made between, obviously this was the whole why we brought you on, and I knew it would be brilliant, but like the comparison between Democrats and Taylor Swift, particularly when it comes to the vulnerability missing on the side of our of sort of politicians who are fighting authoritarianism right now. I think, like, to me, like that was like a light bulb moment. And Lisa Murkowski kind of did it. Obviously she's a Republican.
We have some examples, right?
But people didn't like it. People were, and I remember I actually wrote about it. I was like, don't be afraid, do something, right? But it was done in a different, it was not done in the way that Cory Booker did it, where he was like, I'm doing everything that I can and I'm feeling emotional. Or Jimmy Kimmel, right? I'm emotional, but I'm going to keep fighting. With her, it was like, well, I'm afraid, so I'm not going to do anything, right? I think that it needs to be paired with action and again, authenticity.
By the way, vulnerability is different than fear.
Yeah.
Right? Fear spreads. It's like, I'm afraid. And it's like, no, don't tell us that.
Right.
That's
courage.
An underdog is not afraid. An underdog has courage.
Right. Damn.
Something I'm taking is what you said, which is she's a person, not a politician.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to really, really remember that, which, by the way, she's totally a politician. She's totally an organizer, Taylor Swift. She's totally an activator. She's totally a marketer. But we feel
like she's our close friend, Taylor Swift. Well, my close friend, Priya Parker, thank you for being with us. We are your close friends.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
That's how we feel. And yes, this chat has animated me so much. I'm going to remember things that you all said. And we're going to have to do this again. We can't stop
Free America.
Laughing.
We can't. Free America.
We'll find more reasons.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, bye, everybody.
Bye,
I miss you already. Bye, Priya. You're the best.
Thanks, Liz. You're the best.
Bye.
Bye.